Hi everyone, welcome to the first episode of the Making Monday podcast. I did decide that, or it's actually the Lost Design podcast for Making Monday, but I decided that I'm going to post on Mondays and just call them Making Mondays. And I'm going to go through some of my whips, some of the things that I've already made, because this is the first one, so just to sort of introduce you to the work that I'm doing, or like what I'm working on, I guess. I have some of the tops that were easily accessible because they were all washed recently. I have some of the things that I'm currently making, and then some of the things that I'm planning on sewing. So I'm a knitter, I'm a crocheter, sewist. I dabble a little bit in tatting and needlepoint. You're not going to see very much of that, but I do dabble in that. There's a lot of other things that you'll probably see. But yeah, we're going to go ahead. We're going to get into the whips that I have, or maybe I should start with the finished objects and then go into the whips. So some of my finished objects, these were all finished. This is actually the first summer top that I've ever done, is the one I'm currently wearing. It's actually my own design, which was released on Friday, May 15th, which is tomorrow while I'm filming this, but it will be last week when you watch this, if you're watching like right when it's posted. But it was released May 15th. Wow. Okay, it's really weird. Like, it's happening in the future, but I'm talking in the past. Like, it happened in the past. That is something I'm going to have to get used to. But it's okay. It's okay. So this is the first top, for summer top, that I've actually ever knit. And, like, fully to completion. Okay, I started other tops before I started this. And that seems to be a pattern for me. My first sweater was self-drafted. Got me into sweaters. My first cardigan was self-drafted. I've only made two. The one that was self-drafted and one that I made at the end of last year. That one is currently in storage because, well, it's May. And I'm in the Southeast. It's humid, it's hot, and, we're thriving over here. But definitely not cardigan weather. I am thinking about maybe making a summer cardigan, though, at some point. Like some light cotton yarns. Could be fun. But anyway, first top that I'm going to show you guys is my Wolf Bayou top. So this was actually scrap yarn and stash yarn, so a combination of both. And this is discontinued. It was Premier Yarns Princess yarn. It's 100% acrylic, and it is discontinued, or at least I can't get it at my local Dollar Trees. This was pre-COVID. This was a pre-COVID buy, along with the blanket that I used this for. Well, the black. I used the black to seam it together, but I really liked the red and the white, so I picked some of that up as well. But this is the Wolf Bayou top. I did run out of yarn, so it's like 3 inches too short. If I could go back and make it 3 inches longer, I 100% would. But alas, it's not. It comes just above my belly button, and I wanted it just a little longer. I wasn't able to knit it to the full length of the pattern, so this is on my things to re-knit list. I'll probably re-knit it next year when I have less floating through my brain. But worst case, I do like this one. It will be a wonderful top, or it is a wonderful top. I wear it mainly just around the house when I have nothing, like when I'm not going anywhere. The next top is actually my most recent finished summer top. It is the Sofrine top by Audrey Borrego. Her patterns are free. Actually, most of these patterns are free, but this is the Sofrine top by Audrey Borrego. I also used a discontinued yarn that was in my stash. So the ivory I bought in 2024 as one of the options for making my sister a wedding wrap, because she got married like 2 days after Christmas in 2024. And I made her dress. I did end up making her wrap as well. And I just used a heavier yarn because I figured the lighter weight one probably wouldn't keep her as warm if she needed it. So ivory was left over from that. It was actually never used. I swatched with it and decided it was too light for post-Christmas wedding. And then the red stripes, I don't even know why I had it, but it was in my stash. I only had one skein of it, so I used it for this. I really like the way it turned out. I showed my sister, and she goes, "That looks like a Where's Waldo shirt. It's for the 4th of July. I'm going to wear it with a blue skirt that is currently a whip. But 4th of July, and yeah. I really like the way it turned out. It was Yarn Bee Spiness, and if I had a navy blue in my stash, I absolutely would have done like a thin stripe of navy just to break up the red and white. So I probably would have done 6 rows of red. Oh, there's a bee. Oh, there's a bee. Okay. I would have done the 6 rows of red. Then I probably would have taken out of the 18 rows of the white. I probably would have put in about 4 rows. I probably would have done 7 rows white, 4 rows of navy, and then 7 rows of white as well. So I do like the way it turned out. If I had the navy, I absolutely would have put the navy stripes in there as well, but that's fine. Great pattern, actually. I really enjoyed knitting that. It took me 3 weeks start to finish on that one. This is the DIY Raglan top, and I don't remember the designer's name for this one, or the Wolf Bayou. I will be linking all of these patterns in the description because I don't remember them. I will also include the link for the Bamboo Breeze top, which is what I'm wearing, because this one also took me 3 weeks to knit, and most of my testers it only took 2. So it is a very quick knit. It's a DK weight summer top, and it doesn't feel heavy at all. It's knit with plant-based fibers. Didn't give you that information, but the DIY Raglan top, I also used plant-based fibers for. I used Louisa Harding Gabrielle, which, surprise, surprise, also a discontinued yarn. This one was not from Stash, though. This I picked up at my local yarn store. When they have a discontinued yarn that they still have in stock, they put it on sale, which I really do appreciate that, because those are the yarns I can get. I also have another whip that is using a discontinued yarn that I did buy recently that they're not making it anymore. But this top, it knit up really well. The yarn sort of makes it feel a little bit like a dishcloth, but it's oddly, like, I really like the way that it came out, which I know can seem odd, but like it's very soft yarn. And I'm gonna hold it up. Maybe you guys can see a little bit, but there's like the blue dots, there's pink, and I really like it. So it's a cotton yarn mixed with a bunch of other stuff. But I will say, if you're using a needle size up, size down, I didn't even look at the recommended needle size or the recommended gauge, so I didn't use either one of those. So my top ended up coming out 2 sizes larger than the size that I was originally starting to knit, but that's fine. I have absolutely no issues with it because I do like my knits oversized. Because in the summer, I don't want anything touching my skin if it doesn't have to. I don't want it hugging me. I will save that for winter, although in winter we have all the holidays. So I also don't want it showing off any food babies that might show up during Christmas, Thanksgiving, anything like that. So I honestly, I just prefer looser fit garments, but typically in the winter is the only time that I would really want anything touching my skin to keep me warm. This last finished object that I have for you guys that I'm going to show you is the Blooming Breeze top by Hedgehog Fibers. It is a very well written pattern. It is not my style. So the way that it fits, I don't know if it's obvious, but the back fits to the length that I like my shirts to go to. It goes all the way down. The top ends like right here, which is about 1.5 inches under my boobs, okay? For lack of a better term. It's not my preferred style of shirt. I am thinking, however, if I can sew like a little, I guess sort of like a slip, but just a small dress that can go under it that has like super thin spaghetti straps. This could go over it, and then it could be like a really cute layering piece. So I am keeping it. And then if I don't wear it at all, like if I don't end up making that dress and I don't wear it, I will give this top away. Either way, this won't stay in my closet if I don't wear it because I want it to be worn. I want it to be cherished. But I knit it in a Lions brand Summer Nights yarn that has been in my stash for years. This year I'm going to do my best to stash bust. Not all of this is going to be stash busting, but I'm doing my best to work through my stash, which reminds me I actually need to do a video going through my stash, mainly to hold me accountable for what's already there. And then I also want to do a video on like all my WIPs that are currently hibernating, because those are all stash yarn right now. Actually, most of them are using stash yarn, so I need to do a video on that just for motivation to actually finish them. But that's some future video plans right there. Stash, project lists, like what I want to make, what I have currently going on, how I'm using my stash, and yeah. So yeah, speaking of using stash, let's get into the WIPs, because 2 of these projects use stash, although I will say this first project is a pair of socks. There's no pattern for it. I just Judy's Magic Cast On for the toe, increase up, and I'm just using a magic heel because I didn't feel like turning heel and figuring out how to turn these. So this pair of socks is going to be for my mom for her birthday in July. This is the Premier Yarns Blueberry Sock Yarn. It is acrylic, but that is good because she's not going to remember to hand wash them. Like, I have no issues using acrylic at all because not everybody is going to remember to wash them, and I do have a tendency to give away most of the things that I knit. I've got to be honest. If I know that I'm knitting it for me and I know that I'm going to love it, I'm knitting it in something that I'm going to love. And sometimes, yes, that is acrylic because it's just what I have available, and it's the most budget-friendly option. But I do now have a ton of this Premier Yarns fruit sock yarn in my stash because I bought it on a Black Friday sale last year, and I just really stocked up on it. And yeah, so that is my goal this year is to have a pair of socks on my noodles consistently, and I have done that. I think I've actually knit 4 pairs of socks this year, 5 pairs of socks this year if you include the toddler ones. But this is project number 1. I actually worked on it while I was getting my tires replaced last week, which, you know, 3.5 hours later for changing my tires and getting in alignment. Great. We're thriving over here. But yeah, that is what I worked on during that time, and I will probably just keep working on it during meetings and such because it's pretty easy. It's just going in the round. The next WIP that I want to show you guys is the classic camel vest. Again, I don't remember the designer's name. This is my brother-in-law's Christmas gift. His favorite color is neon orange, and according to my sister, he is a huge fan of sweater vests. So he's getting a neon orange sweater vest for Christmas using the Ella Rae Drops Honey, which is also acrylic. His mother might own the local yarn store, but I still don't trust him to wash wool correctly. So this is also a discontinued yarn. They do have a replacement for it, but this specific variety, these specific colorways, they are no more. So I did get a little bit extra for this. So it will probably make its way into one of my stash or scrap blankets. But this is what it's looking like. I have about 5 inches left on the back panel before I do the little bit of shoulder shaping that goes here and then start the fronts. The front will probably go much faster than the back of this because 1, it's only half the size, and 2, there's a small little cable detail that will incentivize me to just 4 more rows, right? You know how it goes. Like, you're just 1 more row. But wait, I can get to the next cable. So I'll just do 4 more rows. I'm really, really bad about that. But it's going to work up really quick, and then I'll do the armholes, the button bands. My guess is it's definitely going to be done in time for Christmas, but this one will probably be done by the end of June. The only reason I'm saying the end of June is not the end of May is because I've been distracted, and this burns my eyeballs. So that is the classic camel vest. Again, all of these patterns will be linked in the description, but, you know, that one will probably be done in June. I have a ton of WIPs on the needles, so I'm not actually stressed about getting any of them done on a deadline unless they're like this next project, which is a test knit for LG Fiberworks. I'm working on the salvage skirt. I'm doing a test knit for it. So I knit the underskirt using a reclaimed sweater. So this darker blue is a reclaimed sweater. The lighter blue it's a cotton crochet thread. It's not Aunt Lydia's. I picked it up from Hobby Lobby like during COVID, I think. So it's like 6 years old, but it's been in my stash since then because what I believe the project that I originally bought it for, I scrapped. I don't think I actually finished it. But this is what it's looking like. I'm doing the middle tier first because this ball of yarn came from the front of the sweater, and I put in all of the pieces that were seaming it together. I used that in this ball of yarn, so a lot of the top rows have little knots and such in it, and I didn't really want that visible in the top layer of the skirt, so I started with the middle one. And I worked this pattern out of order, which I work most of my patterns out of order anyway, but I also have the waistband started. So this is a double knit waistband. She says to do 18 to 24 inches of the double knit waistband before you put it on. But this is a quick, like, fidgety project that I can also do during meetings. And yeah, it's working up really quick. So this I'm going to make mine a little bit shorter than 18 inches, which might not be the smartest idea, but I also don't like huge bows in the back of my skirts. So I'm probably going to knit this about 6, 7, maybe 8 more inches, you know. I did not do that intentionally, but, you know, it's fine. I could also say 6 to 9 more inches, but that's just getting a little too out there. But yeah, this is what the double knit waistband is looking like, and I'm very excited about how this pattern's working up. She said the pattern's releasing at some point in July. I'm going to have this done by the end of May, maybe the first week of June. But either way, it's going to be done pretty quick because it is working up extremely quickly. So that is the end of my knitting whips. I do have a few sewing whips as well as projects that I need to have done next week that I haven't started yet. So my first sewing whip is actually this lovely white fabric that my sister and I, when I was out visiting her over in March, we did something called flower pounding. So we took flowers and we put them on the fabric and then we hammered them in. So I decided that I am going to, especially on the back side of this, I decided I'm going to take the flower outlines, I'm going to embroider around them before I embroider within them. Because all of the flowers, they could use a little bit of extra support to get them a little bit more realistic. Like even this side where the colors came across very, very nicely. Like I love looking at that, especially the yellow ones. Like I love the yellow ones. But this is what it's looking like. But I am gonna embroider around them, and the leaves need a little bit of help as well for color. So I'm decided I'm gonna outline around them before I start embroidery. This project, it's gonna take me a hot minute because this is all gonna be freehand embroidery. I'm not putting it on an embroidery hoop or anything like that. Ooh, that was a bee. I do not like bees. I'm sorry, I'm outside, obviously, but not a fan of bees. And in the springtime, they are a fan of everything. So that is project number 1 that I've been working on. Now, the project that I need to do next week, it's a sewing project. I'm going to use a sewing machine. It's going to work up really quick, but I'm going to be making stockings for my cousin and her sons for Christmas. So I have this fabric that's going to go on the cuff and the toe, and I'm thinking possibly wrapping like the gift section possibly around the heel, but we'll have to just wait and see what happens with that. And then the main fabric of the stocking is going to be this Grinch and the ornaments fabric. And her kids are absolutely obsessed with the Grinch. So I'm very excited about making these stockings because they're toddlers, right? Toddlers they get so excited about the smallest things, but it makes it a little bit more fun to knit for them. And then this fabric, it's bright green. It's going to go on the inside. It is a stiffer fabric, but I also think I'm going to be putting a little bit of black felt around this, and then their names are just going to be in bright green. with black felt in the middle, and then they're just gonna be stitched down like that. And that's how I'm thinking about doing their names on the stockings. That way they can't get upset with each other for stealing each other's stockings. Yeah, it's really fun. My siblings and I, we all have stockings that were made by our grandmother, and it's something really special to have. And I would love for my cousins' sons to have that experience where they do have a handmade stocking for them. And the other, I'm sorry about the plastic sounds. The other projects that I have, they're all sewing projects. I'm going to be doing, I believe I'm going to be making just like a quick knit top out of most of these. So I have a white knit fabric, 2 of them actually. This one I think I bought for lining for something, because I forgot what I was doing with the scuba knit, but it's in there. That one is one of them. And then I have this waffle knit fabric that I just really want to get into, and I want to make a top out of it because I love the way it feels, honestly. And the color of it is incredible. Plus, it's just so loose, flowy, and drapey that how could you not want to make a top out of it? And then the last fabric that I have is not the right one, is this green knit fabric, which I'm also planning on making a top out of, because I don't think there's enough to make like a short dress or anything like that. So those are all of my tops. I have 3 of them that I'm going to try to make pretty quickly. I do have a few other sewing projects going on that I've just sort of put down. But yeah, that's about all that I'm making. I should be showing you guys some knitting acquisitions. Hi, Snowflake. Yeah? I'll put in a picture of the dog. Or one of them. She's the one who's barking. She's a 10-and-a-half-year-old husky who is the sweetest girl and is very sassy. I don't know if you can hear her barking or not, but she's telling me to stop talking to you and start talking to her. So if you guys have anything that you want to see on the channel, just put your ideas in the description below. But yeah, next week, hopefully I'll have a knitting acquisition to show you guys, possibly 2. One of them was supposed to arrive on the 12th and has been stuck in France for multiple days. So it got to France Thursday the 7th. Today is currently the 13th. Or no, today's the 14th. I'm sorry. Today's the 14th, and it's still stuck in France. And they said it could be 2 more weeks before it even catches the flight out of France. Which, stupid. So don't ship FedEx right now, but, you know, at least not internationally. But yeah, I was told on Wednesday that it was catching the next flight out. Actually, no, I was told that on Tuesday that it was going to catch the next flight out. And it never did. And now it could be 2 more weeks before it gets there. Like, on the plane. It's at the airport. It's just hasn't made its way on the plane, which is crazy to me. But, you know, when that gets here, I'll eventually show you those acquisitions and tell you the plans for those, because one of them, it's a lace project. I needed new knitting needles, which should not be taking weeks upon weeks to arrive. The other stuff, I have design ideas, and I need that yarn to come in before I can actually start on those, because the design is specifically in those colors in that yarn. So yeah, I will, when those get in, I will show you. But yeah, that is all from me. Thanks for sticking around and watching. And I'm going to do my best to post every Monday, and we're going to call it Makers Monday. So happy making. Bye.